Hey guys, welcome to my structure. I am Mara, and today we're going to be doing my December reading wrap up. I had to think about it, child, because I've been doing so many of these videos, I can't keep up. So if you see me looking down, I have my iPad mini here so I can pull up. I still did not track my books for the month of December, but I didn't read that many books for December, so it's cool. But starting January, if you have not seen my previous video, my 2025 goals, go check it out. But that is one of my goals for 2025 is to actually track my books like using a book app. I'm going to be using Storygraph. So right now I'm just trying to pull it up. Yeah, so for the month of December, I did not read that many books because my reading intention for December was to read 0 books. But I did put the Reformatory by Tanana Rive as a priority, and I did read it. But I did manage to squeeze in 4 more books. So, I mean, I guess it worked out. But yeah, I had no intentions on reading besides the Reformatory if I was able to. So yeah. So the first book we're going to start with is The Reformatory by Tanana Rive. I don't rate my books by numbers, but if I were to give it a number, I would give it 5 stars. Perfect book if you're like into Black historical fiction because it does follow. Okay, yeah. So if you're into like Black historical fiction, then you will like be into the book. So it does follow, like, the book is like based off of the Dozier School for Boys in Florida. And I also thought it was really cool that Tanana Abdu named the main character after her uncle, who actually, one of her great uncles who attended the real school, the Dozier School in Florida. And he passed away, I think, at the age of 15 at the school. So I thought it was cool that her uncle's name, I believe, in the dedication, his name was Robbie. Her mother was inspired by, I think, Gloria, which is Robbie in the book's sister. And then her dad was inspired by someone as well, but that all of that is in the author note. So I love how she just paid homage to her family and specifically her great uncle, keeping his story alive with this book. So the book does follow Robbie and his sister Gloria. I do have a whole reading vlog of this book, so I'm not going to say too much, but the book does follow Robbie and Gloria. They are pretty much orphans because their mother passed away, and I mean, technically they're not orphans, but technically they are. So their father fled to Chicago due to a situation, so he pretty much left his kids in this made up town called Gracetown in Florida. And so his children are pretty much having to fend for themselves. They do have someone looking after them, an elderly woman, but other than that, they're pretty much on their own. And so their neighbor is a plantation. They're neighbored with a plantation. Like, their property line is like neck and neck with another, well, it's no longer a plantation, but a plantation that their ancestors also worked on. And so Robbie has an incident with one of the children of, I think is it called the McCormick? They call it McCormick Street because of that plantation, and the people who are on that plantation are like the big dogs of that small town and pretty much bring in the money for the town. So Robbie ends up having a situation, well, him and his sister, but Robbie specifically has a situation with one of the children, and Robbie ends up getting sentenced to go to the Gracetown. I think Robbie's 13 years old. And so he's sentenced to the Gracetown School for Boys Reformatory. And so when he gets to the Reformatory, Robbie is able to see like more ghosts than, well, he's able to connect with the ghosts more than the other boys, and there are some adults specifically in that reformatory that are able to see the ghosts as well. And then there's this mean, nasty warden who pretty much does all the unaliving to the boys in that school. And the ghost, what am I trying to say? Yeah, so the ghosts in the school are boys who went, previous boys that were unalived in that school. So the boys that were unalived that went to that school are haunting the school because they want to do something specifically, but that's all I'm going to say. So this book is listed as a horror because, of course, like, but I will say, like, some of the stuff doesn't have, like, touch me the way that it might touch somebody else because I read a lot of, like, slave narratives and, like, Black history content that is surround, like, what she's mentioning in her book. So it won't, like the horror part of it doesn't, it's not really, like, horrific. Even though, like, it is horrific that what these people had to go through because it is based off true events. It just doesn't, like, it's not like a shock factor for me because I read the content so much. So if you're not used to reading, it might be a little hard for you to read, or the shock value might be a little more elevated for you, or it might just pull at your heartstrings a lot more if you don't read, that type of stuff on a regular. So there's that. And next we have Master of Me by Kiki Palmer. This is like considered a memoir, so there's really not too much to say. But as I did state in one of my previous videos, she does touch on like the major topics, like the situation with her baby dad, situation with Trey Songz. There's a situation where she was being compared to someone on Twitter. Like she does address that, like she does not hold back. I feel like it's not like messy tea. I feel like she addresses it in a graceful manner. And I also will say this book is giving like self-help. I don't know, child. I don't know what's going on with me today. I just got out the shower. I just got done working out. So that's why I look like I'm ready for bed, because I'm ready for bed. It's like, what time is it? It's 6 p.m. So I am ready for bed. But so yeah, the book does have like a strong element of self. Why do I keep wanting to say self-help mixed together? So it does have an element of self-help. You know how you say something over and over and it starts to not make sense? That's what I just did to myself, and I almost just made myself mad because I hate when that happens. Like, I genuinely cannot stand when that happens because now I don't even want to say the word anymore because now in my brain it does not make sense. So, yeah, it has that element of that in it because it's very interactive. The book is very interactive because she gives you like a questionnaire at the end of certain chapters. So I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm a Kiki Palmer fan, so I enjoyed it. Next we have Mischief and Mistletoe, A Christmas Story by Olivia Linden. This is a novella, and they have some type of event going on. I think it is 12 Days of Christmas. I didn't look too much into it, but when I seen Olivia Linden and Ayla Cox like advertising like 12 Days of Christmas and it was like showing different books, I don't know if like a group of authors, like indie authors, got together and like dropped a book like starting from the 12 days of Christmas, like leading up, the start of 12 days of Christmas leading up to Christmas Day. So yeah, I'm not sure because I didn't look too much into it, but I just seen that Olivia and Ayla was dropping, and yeah, I had to read both of theirs because so, Mischief and Mistletoe, A Christmas Story by Olivia Linden. I love this novella. It is a novella, and it was cute. It's a nice little Christmas vibe. Like when you want like a Hallmark type vibe feel, like something cute and cozy, Christmas holiday story to read. Yeah, so this is the one. So the book is following twins, Ari and Allie. Ariana and Alicia. I think her name is Alicia because it's LaiySha, something like that. So it's following the twins, Allie and Alicia. I have to make sure I don't get them. I said Allie and Alicia, the same person. Ari and Allie. And I have to make sure I don't get them mixed up. Okay. So Ari is like the twin that's like a rebel. She has a social media personality. She also has an alter ego named Allure Winters. Is it Allure Winters? But she has an alter ego named Allure. And so she's the one, that didn't go to college or anything. She just has this really big, she's famous, well-known, good dancer, just a very big social media entertainer. She's an entertainer. And then Allie is the complete opposite. Like she's giving small town college degree. I stay in a home. I'm a homebody. I stay at home. I'm a homebody type vibe. Complete opposite. So like Ari's like the sexy twin, and Ari's just the laid back, tomboyish kind of twin. And so Ari ends up getting into a relationship with this guy who has a lot of money. And so she tells her sister, like, hey, look, the family is not down for us being together. So for Christmas, I need us to switch places. I need you to be me to distract what's going on, so me and my man can go get married in secret, because the guy that she wants to get married to, his brother is trying to stop the wedding because they have inherited so much money and they do not want her to have, well, specifically his brother does. Okay, I'm back. My dog. I know y'all can hear my dog. But so Ari's man, his brother does not want, his brother Ben, or no, his brother Mateo doesn't want her to get married to his brother. So there's like a chain of events that are taking place. So it would be like Ari has this party to go to, and then after the party, they're supposed to link up at like in Aspen, all together, and like link up with the brother and stuff, like a family event type thing. And so the twin Ari is like, the twin Ari tells Allie, like, I need you to be me for my event. So, and then after the event, I need you to meet up with the brother and just let him know that we're just running behind. Okay. So I'm trying to explain this the best way. Okay, so Ari wants her sister Allie to go be her at her event, and then Ari was supposed to meet up with her man and his brother in Aspen, and so Ari wants Allie to pretend to be her at Ari's party, like just show up as her, and then she wants Allie to also be her when meeting her man's brother in Aspen. And then she wants the sister to be like, hey, my man, your brother is running behind. Whoop whoop. So during that time, Ari can go sneak off and get married. That was a lot. I feel like that just took me forever to explain it. So within all of that going on, of course, it's called Mischief and Mistletoe. There's a lot of mischief going on. There's a lot of twists going on. But baby, I can't tell you anymore because it's going to give it away. Anyways, next we have 12 Nights, an Unhinged Christmas Novella by Ayla Cox. If you ain't tapped into Ayla by now, child, I don't know what you're doing, but let me just tell you, if you are tapped into Ayla, you already know how she's coming. Ayla is nasty. She's a very freaky girl. And then you get her number. Ayla's nasty. Ayla writes men who are very dominant, very aggressive, very much like Christian Grey, but 10 times more dominant. And she writes women who are thickums, Miss Thickums, like size 16 thickums, who are also bosses, like boss women as well, but able to get folded up folded up like a pretzel. Yeah. Okay, so we're following Eden, aka Jordan. So when she's 12, she lost her mother and she ends up turning into a con artist. And then she is taken in by this woman who finds her, and her name is, like, she calls her Auntie June. And so Eden, aka Jordan is her like alter ego. She thinks she can go play this man, so she pretty much goes after rich men and like takes their money and stuff, like seduces them and then takes their money. What was that movie with J-Lo and they was doing that where they would seduce the men and take their money? That's pretty much what Jordan does. But anyways, So Jordan thought she could play Mr. Azrael. And plot twist, she met her match. She met more than her match. Child, Jordan thought she was on her game. She thought she knew what she was doing. But she had no idea what she was about to run into. Baby. Just know, I know y'all see this cover on the screen because I'm going to put it on the screen. But y'all see the blood dripping from the mistletoe. Like she said, an unhinged Christmas novella. And she should have put an unhinged freaky Christmas novella. That's what she should have said. 12 Nights, an unhinged freaky Christmas novella. Child. I don't know what Ayla got going on, but she nasty. Okay, so and the last one we have is Normal People by Sally Rooney. So what inspired me to read this? Diamond from Jada Reads. Y'all tell her to drop a video. She likes Sally Rooney, and majority of the people that I see talking about Sally Rooney do not like her. Like they, especially this book in particular, like they don't have anything nice to say about it, and I see why after reading it. I will say after reading this book, it does not make me like want to not explore her catalog more. But I feel like if I read another book and it makes me feel how Normal People felt, then I might not, like, she just might not be for me. So Normal People, we follow Miriam and Connell. They are in Ireland and they start off as high schoolers. So the book is broken up into like a time period, like 2011, 2012, like you're 3 months from now, 2 weeks from now, 2 minutes from now. Like it's just a time. You're going just down a timeline. Each chapter is like a time. Not like clock time, but like I was about to push my glasses up. Like a dated timeline. And so these teenagers are starting off, the book starts off with them in high school. The best way for me to sum this up is the title should not be called Normal People. The title should be called A Trauma Bond Exploring Miscommunication. No, wait. A situationship exploring a trauma bond filled with miscommunication. A situationship with a trauma bond filled with miscommunication. That's pretty much what it is. It's literally, the book is a big situationship of two people who are trauma bonding and don't know how to communicate with each other, and rightfully so because of the underlying issues that both of them have. But Connell was a jerk, like a complete jerk. And even okay, so I would say at first this book, I almost DNF'd the book, but it redeemed itself like within the last 3 chapters, the last 2 chapters. I will say they get a pass because they started off as teenagers. If they started off as adults and I was reading a big situationship about adults, abort mission, because this book was about to make me feel like Luster, and if you're new to my channel, I cannot stand that book. Luster and Queenie, I cannot stand those books. Queenie gets a slight pass only because she went to therapy at the end of the book. That's the only reason why she gets a pass. Only because I feel like people have to be careful writing about stuff like this because there's nothing normal about trauma bonding. First of all, yes, everyday people. Maybe she should have called this Everyday People, not normal people. Or maybe she should have named it something else besides normal, because I feel like spiraling should not be normal. Trauma bonding should not be normal. Anxiety, depression, having a living with mental health issues and not getting help is not normal. Granted, some people, if we're talking real life, some people, it's hard for some people to get help. Some people just are so stuck in their ways that they just don't feel like anything is wrong with them and they don't get help. But that's why I feel like people have to, and for those reasons, people have to be careful writing about stuff like this. Yes, all of what was discussed in this book is great conversation, great topics to discuss, great book club discussion, maybe, because it may trigger somebody if they're struggling with the same things, or because there is nothing like. So Miriam comes from a household with avoidant. Her mother is very much avoidant. She has a brother who pretty much tells herself to unalive herself every day, who beats on her. Her father beat on her. And then in school, nobody likes her. She was an outcast at school, so she has no social life. She's a people pleaser, like times five. And then Connell, so she meets Connell because Connell's mother is Miriam's maid. And so that's how, they end up connecting with each other. They did go to high school with each other, and they did not talk to each other in high school because Connell felt like, oh, I can't talk to you in school because nobody likes you, or it would just be awkward. And I would say Miriam didn't feel the same way. Like, she stated, like, agreed because of their social class. She's rich, he wasn't. But I just feel like because she's a people pleaser, she just agreed with so much of what he said. And so Connell's situation, he does not know who his father was, never met his father. His mother, I feel like, was a single mother who just did the best that she could. His mother was not giving like unhealthy vibes at all. Like, his mother tried to put him in his place so many times, like, you will get the F out of my house if you can't treat people right. Like, that's the type of energy she was on. And she did tell him that, like, if you don't get it together, you gotta go, because I'm not raising nobody like this. She did not condone his BS at all. The only thing is I mean, I guess if she's seen certain behavior, she could have been like, okay, you need to get help. So I will say Sally Rooney did incorporate Connell going to get help, seeking assistance for how he felt, and he ended up having depression. Miriam, not so much. She didn't really get the help that she probably should have. But I'm just like, girl, why do you keep cut this dude off? Like, you so loyal to this raggedy man. Like, but then it's just like, he just dogged you so much, and you just. So I see why people, will have something bad to say about this. But my thing is, I don't think I like when authors explore mental health issues and they don't handle it with care. I will say Sally Rooney low-key handled it with care, but then at the end of the day, it's just like, when people write stuff like this, and it's not specifically Sally Rooney, like when people choose to write stuff like this, it's like, what is the point? Like we can explore mental health in ways where it doesn't have to be so, I don't know. I don't know. There's just so much. I mean, I guess that's the point of them writing it like this, because of how I'm currently feeling. Maybe they want people to feel this way. Maybe they want people to question these certain behaviors so that we can do better and be better as a person and as a community. I mean, because I feel like they should not be, of course, they need to be discussed, but at the same time, I think it's just, I really can't describe, like, there's just a certain, I don't know, I think it's just like the way in which they write it, or like the way they are creating the backgrounds of these characters, which, I mean, there's so many people in this world that have worse situations than these characters in the book, but I just don't like when authors write it and they're not handling it with care in a way to let readers know, like, although this is traumatic, this is what you can do to get help, you know? And that's why I did not really care for Lester, because this woman was spiraling out of control. Like, yeah. So I just feel like if you're going to speak about something so traumatic that can trigger somebody so bad, like, maybe because they're going through the same thing, or maybe they just have people around them, or maybe their parents are like that and they're just like, well, what am I supposed to do? I relate to this story, but what? So these are the I read 5 books. So I read 5 books for the month of December. So if you made it this far, I do thank you so much for watching. If you read any of these books, let me know how you felt about them. Especially, I know majority of you guys have read the Reformatory and Normal People. So let me know how y'all felt about those 2 books specifically. The Reformatory and Normal People. I'm sure most of y'all absolutely loved the Reformatory. But if you read Normal People, let me know how you liked it. If you are a fan of Sally Rooney, what is your favorite book by her? Because I do want to read another book from her. I just don't know where to go because she's a new to me author. But if you haven't done so already, go ahead and lock on with your girl and subscribe, because I don't know what you're waiting for, because it's nice and chill over here. And go ahead, yes, and drop me some of that love down in the comments. And like I said, just let me know how you feel about these 2 books, but specifically Normal People and or Sally Rooney. What's your favorite book by her? And go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video.